735 brought a lot of buffs to Chen, so in this video we're going to talk about what those buffs are and what it all means for Chen. So first of all, of course, we have some direct changes to Chen. So Penitence now gives attack range bonus also to other ranged units under your control. This is not a huge deal, but it's going to give you a little bit of extra range on those ranged creeps. And then Holy Persuasion no longer has a teleport. Teleport's now on Divine Favour, which is a buff, as we'll talk about in a second. And then Divine Favour itself has also been reworked. Now is an aura that only gives you some health regen, no armor directly. But it now has an active that gives armor to a single target for a duration of 6 seconds. And it's 12 armor at level 1, scaling all the way up to 24. This is an ability that has a pretty long range, as you can see. And you can cast it on yourself or on allies, and it's a 12 armor bonus. So this is a pretty big deal. Like, this creep now has 46% physical resistance. And if you think about it, at just level 1, this is already twice the bonus you would get from Medallion. You can't cast it on enemies, but you can cast it on yourself, so that's nice. And also has 20% healer amplification, so this is definitely much better than the old Divine Favour. You still want to max this out last, probably. It's more important to get Penitence than this, I think. And it's already quite good with a single point. But you always want to get a point of this relatively early. So at level 4, you always want to have this configuration. 1 in Penitence, 2 in Holy Persuasion, and then 1 in Divine Favour. The order is going to be a bit situational. You might start with this level 1. If you want to be more defensive, or with Penitence if you want to be aggressive, or if you don't have a good application for this during a rune fight or something, you can start with Holy Persuasion. If you self-cast this, it doesn't only give you extra armor, but it also teleports back your creeps to you. What this means is that you no longer need to pay mana to get back your creeps, and it also no longer competes with Holy Persuasion. So this is definitely a buff to have that teleport ability shifted over to Divine Favour. One downside is you can no longer recall individual creeps, but most of the time you want to recall all the creeps anyway, so that's not a big problem. Then we do have a bit of a nerf on Hand of God, where you lose 50 healing, and that does hurt a little bit, but it's made up for if you get that 20% bonus. And in general, I think Chen is just going to be quite a bit stronger with these changes. Now let's look at some of the general changes and see how they affect Chen. The neutral creeps give 2 less gold across the board, so a little bit less gold income for Chen, but of course also for other heroes. It also means that your creeps will feed 2 less gold if they get killed by enemies. Super creeps and mega creeps also get extra damage bonus, so taking these over is now a stronger option. This one is a bit of a nerf though. Carrier health is replaced with attacks to kill. Carrier dies after 1 melee hero attack, 2 ranged hero attacks, or 6 creep attacks. So this makes it much harder for Chen to snipe carriers. Because previously you could often just snipe a carrier in the early game with just 1 attack from the hero and 1 attack from a ranged creep. No longer possible. To engage costing mana can be a bit annoying because there's a lot of split pushing stuff you can do with Chen creeps, but it's not the biggest deal. Let's talk about item changes. So the most important change is going to be the change to Solar Crest, a pretty popular item on Chen even before, and now it's going to be even stronger. It now incorporates Pervise and has the Pervise effect in addition to giving all the old Solar Crest buffs. And this means that Solar Crest can now also be cast on yourself. You don't get the armor, but you get all the other bonuses with the extra movement speed and attack speed and so on. But you can no longer cast it on enemies. But on the whole though, Solar Crest is now much stronger. It's also slightly more expensive, but just going Pervise into Solar Crest is going to be a very powerful build on Chen. And speaking of Pervise, it no longer has the mana regen, which kind of hurts a little bit. It has 250 mana, but you probably rather have the mana regen. So Pervise itself, a little bit worse, but because you can upgrade into Solar Crest, it's actually really powerful. Then we have a Cane boost, which now uses Basilius instead of Energy Booster, so no longer has the 250 mana, but now gives you 0.75 mana regen to yourself and a 1 mana regen aura, just the same as for Basilius. And very importantly, can no longer be disassembled. This change hurts a lot of support, but for Chen, it's not that big of a deal. You don't really care too much about Arcane Boots anyway. You're pretty much only buying Arcane Boots because it works itself into Guardian Greaves. And a lot of the times you want Bongo Boots instead anyway, so this is not really a change that hurts Chen. It hurts most other supports more. Holy Locket has also been changed. No longer has Regeneration Aura and has one less attribute, but it gives you 2 extra health and mana per charge, and also charges are restored faster. The one way to think of this charge restore is as a kind of stored up HP and mana regen. So 17 mana every 8 seconds works out to be about 2.1 mana per second, which is quite a lot of mana regen. The HP regen is a bit less impressive, but you have to keep in mind that it's boosted by 30% from Holy Locket's passive. So it's hard to say whether Holy Locket is better or worse now. It's a bit of a side grade, but Holy Locket has always been a good item on Chen, and it just pairs really well with your ultimate and with mech, which of course is still a very strong item on Chen. Then we have Pipe, getting a bit more expensive, but giving an extra 8 health regen. And that's probably a really good deal if you're like a tanky offlaner type of hero, but for Chen, you'd rather have the cheaper Pipe. So this is probably a slight nerf on him. So those are all the important item changes for Chen. So what do you make with this new Chen? Well, the mech build is the strongest ever. You can go something like mech into Solar Crest into Holy Locket. Would be like a strong standard way of playing Chen. You can also just rush the Solar Crest. And with Solar Crest plus your new armor buff, you can really keep one person alive for a very long time. If you then combine that with the healing from mech and from Holy Locket, it's going to be really hard to kill people. Drum is also still a really strong item. It's not changed at all in the patch, but it was amazing before. It's still amazing. And of course has the upgrade path to Boots of Bearing. There's also Vlad, which is a strong option, but I feel like the big 4, mech, Holy Locket, Drum, and especially Solar Crest are so efficient that you don't end up buying Vlads all that often. Then of course the Pipe is still a really strong option if you don't have an offlaner that likes buying auras. I think Chen is even stronger in this patch than before, so now is a great time to get into Chen. And if you want to learn about Chen, click on the video on the top. Or if you want to know how this new patch affects Lone Druid, click on the video on the bottom. And open is willing, I'll see you there.